Hi everyone, it's Dasher Dave here again, and I'm back for another crafty video. So, today we're going to make this. So I've just engineered this to kind of make it look old. It was this colour previously, and it's one of these little flip top style, I don't know really what you call them, box file style things that you put your invoices and stuff in. So I'm going to make one of these. I'm going to show you how to make it. This one, it measures 8 by 6, and I thought this would be a lovely way to present like a utilitarian style journal in. Now I looked for one of my journals and none of them are this size, so and I made it this size because of the paper that I have. So you could make it with anything. You could make it with, you know, file folder or whatever. The file folders that I have just aren't deep enough because there wouldn't be sufficient for the bottom. It would end up being really componenty. Now, that's not to say that I won't make one out of it. It's just that for this tutorial, we're going to make it out of some 12 by 12 cardstock. You can use A3 cardstock or whatever you prefer. But I'm going to just use 12 by 12 just for the simplicity of it. So you're going to need 3 sheets of it. So 3 sheets of 12 by 12, and 2 of them are going to be the same size cut. Okay, so I'll get those 2, and those 2 are going to measure 11 by 12. So you're going to leave it at one. I'll leave it the same size as it is. Now I believe this might be a little bit shorter than minimum 12, because I think it's a 30 centimeter one. Yes, look at that, it's 11 3/4. I'm not going to worry about that though, because we're not going to use it all, and you'll see why. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it down to 11 and 11 exactly. Okay, so that's 2 pieces cut at the same size. What is going on with my thing not being straight? There we go. Cool. So that makes it 11 by 12. And then the other piece that you're going to need is for the lid, and that measures 9 1/16. So we'll do that first. So 9 1/16. Yeah, by 11 1/8. So 11 1/8. So that's the 16th, and that's an 8th. There. And the reason why it's a really weird measurement is because it's a bit like a lid, so it's going to have to go over the capacity of the box. So that's our lid. We're just going to put that in the way for now because it will get confusing otherwise, and we'll get rid of these bits over here. And I always sift through the bits that I cut off, by the way, and big pieces I keep, little pieces don't worry about. So okay, so now we've got these 2 sizes. You're going to score them in the same way, which is you're going to score it at 3 and then at 9. Okay, so this is the long way. So if you think, look, they're slightly different sizes now. So turn them both around this way. So this way, having it the longest side towards you, you're going to score it at 3 and then 9. Okay, so get your scoreboard out. Get your scoring tool. Okay, move one out of the way. So we're going to go 3 and then 9. So remember, it's 8 by 6, so this is going to be the 8 way, and then this is going to be 6. So that's why you're going to go 3 and 9. The same again, just check that you've got the longest side, and you're going to go 3. So longest side should be towards you, 3 and 9. Just being careful not to press all the way through. Yeah. So then you're going to turn it round, and you're going to have it now so it's more portrait style. So this is the shorter side top and bottom. Okay, and this time round you are going to have it, you're going to score at 8. So you're going to score at 8. There. So score at 8, and then this is the spare, so I'll come back to that in a second. And then you're going to do the same again. So lengthways, you're going to go all the way up to 8 and score there. Okay, and they should be the same size, which they are. Okay, so that's those two. Just put the board down there for a moment. Okay, so these are going to be the sides and the front. Okay, so what you need to do is just put your folds in. So just fold them in. Just make sure that that's folded on that fold line. There we go. Now the reason I said that my file folders aren't big enough is because I didn't want a random score line somewhere. So although I could have folded them out, I would have ended up with a random score line. So rather than make it difficult for you guys to follow along, just try to make it as simple as possible. Okay, so now we've got these two together. Okay, they're going to form the sides, so the sides and the bottom. Okay, so what you need to do is not cough. So that's entirely up to you whether you cough or not. So now what we need to do is we just need to cut up from the bottom on these two panels here, these two score lines here, on both of these at the same place. Okay, cool. Okay, so now what we need to do is, this is going to be the odd base. Okay, so we're going to leave that shape. Okay, but we're going to cut these because these are going to be our tabs. So the two either side, we're just going to cut down to about half. It doesn't matter how big they are. You're not really going to see them, so it doesn't matter. Again, on this one as well. Okay, so that's those two. Okay, so the next thing to do is you've now got to think about how you're going to join them. So we're not going to join them just yet, but if you think about these going together, you don't really want these two big bulky panels. So you're going to cut them actually, believe it or not, you're going to cut them like this. Just make sure they are the same size. They are. Okay, so we're just going to cut one of these panels down. So like we'll put them both together, and I know you're thinking, hang on a minute, Dave, that's going to be wrong, because when I put them together there's going to be two short ones, but it doesn't. When you put them together you'll understand in a minute. So I'm just going to cut these down to make them into more tab size pieces, and I'm only putting them together because it's just easier. And then you'll think, oh no, but like, how am I going to put those together? But when you put it this way round, they form a tab and a front either side. So there we go. So then we've got the base as well. Okay, so our bases then means that our bases, so you can have one of these that you just have as a tab just to marry up with the base. Okay, so again we can cut this one down. Now remember, if it's a tab, it has a shape. If it's a component part of it, they're not shaped. So we're just going to shape all of our tabs. And that just means that they don't get in the way of each other, etc. It doesn't get too bulky. These, remember, this is a component piece because this is a full width, but this is a tab because we've cut it down, so that's going to cut that down. Yeah, we're going to cut this one off because we don't need it. Okay, because it's on a tab, and we're going to cut the tab down. Okay, so we're going to do the same on this one. Okay, so if it's a tab, it gets shaped. Actually, I don't need to shape that one because that's on a tab of its own. So that needs to be shaped there. And this needs to be shaped this side. Yeah, and then on this one, we're going to shape this here, and we're going to shape it here. And again, that's a component, so we don't shape it. Okay, so I'm just going to clear up my desk a bit so it gets less messy for you guys and you can see what I'm doing. So we've got two pieces that are similar now, but not the same, because we've got one that's actually the base and the other one is just a tab. Okay, so before we glue those together, we now want to make it so that when they come together like this, so if you think that that's going to be the front, yeah, when these bits are going to be glued together like this, we want to shape it. So if you look at the front of here, this is shaped, so this has got a shape here. And I'll show you how I did that. So I measured down from the top, so I lined these two lines up. So this is the tab and this is the front. Yeah, I've decided this is the front. I mean, this could be the front, but it's going to be this way. And we line these two up. So what I want to do is line these two creases up. So there's a crease here and there's a crease here, and I want to get those two lined up so they're both in the same place. So the easiest way to do that is to bend your flap back on itself. Put that in that little divot. Okay, so then what I did was I measured down on that crease, which is not, I know is not easy for you to see. We're using inches though, Dave, so on that crease, yeah, and I measured down 2.5. So I came down 2.5 inches and I just put a line or a dot or whatever. So a line or a dot, yeah. And then on this bit, I measured across 3. So from that middle crease, measured across 3 to here, and I just put a little line there. Doesn't have to be bob on accurate. Okay, so we're not going to cut this panel just yet. What we're going to do is we're just going to cut this bit first. So we're going to go from that dot to that dot, and we're just going to cut this line until that crease. Don't go any further, you'll get a bit excited and it'll all go Pete time. Horribly wrong. Rhyming slang. It'll all go horribly wrong because you can't find your blood. Oh, that is hiding. So press on it. Remember, it's better to do a couple of cuts than to try and press it and get it to cut in one go. That one's cut through. That one's almost there. Oh, a little bit far, Dave. Okay, there we go. So that's to there. Then what we want to do is, we know that we've come down 2.5 inches here. Can you remember that? That's what we just measured. So we're going to go down to 2.5 inches here. And we're going to put a line, a mark actually. We can take this top one off because remember it's a tab that you don't need to cut the tab, because we'll shape that off in a minute. I'm going to go down to 2.5 here, and then we're just going to join that, the 2.5 wherever my dot is. Oh, I've taken the thing off the top, that's fine. There, there, there to there, and we're going to cut that in a straight line like that. So that's going to be our front, that's going to be our back, that's going to be our bottom, this is going to be our tab for the front. Then this bit we just need to cut off. Remember, it's a tab, so it doesn't have to be decorative, it just needs to be cut off. Okay, so that's those bits. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put this together. Okay, so tabs are always on the inside, So you just want to make sure it all kind of sits nicely. Get those score lines back in again, because you've probably been opening it and flattening it down, etc. And if you put the score lines in now, it just means it sits together more square. It won't kind of go rhomboid in shape when you're trying to glue it all down. So we're just going to score all of those in. I think Brian's here. I think I heard him earlier. Thank you, Brian. He's just brought me a cup of tea. So what we're going to do is we're going to glue these two bits together. So it gets a bit fiddly because you've got all these tabs, etc. And I know you've got two pieces, and that's simply because I don't have. If you've got a piece of card that is long enough to do it all in one go, then great. But if you haven't, this is the best way to do it. So we're going to glue these together. So I'm going to glue the tab. I'm going to go right up to this crease. Yeah. And all the way around to the edges. You can make this in whatever size you like. Well, I say whatever size you like, whatever size you've got card to make it with. And then what we're going to do is we'll just line it up like that on that edge. And remember, whenever you're lining two edges together, you still want to see the crease. So let's just move that out of the way. You still want to see the crease. So just like when we make a box and you want to see the crease, you don't want to cover this. The end of this doesn't need to go over the edge of the crease. You want to see the crease. So when you put it together like that, you can still see the crease there, and this comes up to meet it. Okay, so then you can stick that bit down. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to stick these bits together. Okay, that just makes sure that we've got a nice square shape. Okay, and we'll, again, go all the way up to the edge of that tab. And just glue it. Now I'm using art glitter glue. You use whatever glue you prefer. I like art glitter glue personally because of its quick grab, but I know there are others out there that grab quickly, and it's a personal choice, isn't it? So there we go. So again, look, you can see the crease and the front panel, and that's fine. That makes it all nice and shaped. Let me just put that over a little bit over on this bit. Cool. Okay, so now we've got like cereal box style at the bottom. These flaps are going to go in, and this is going to be your last flap that goes down, so that you get a nice flat bottom, just like mine. Not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the entire large flap first, right the way up to the edge, remember. I'm going to work quickly. So that in, and then that on top, and that on top of that. Yeah, and then we're going to put glue down the edge of there. Work quickly, glue down the edge of there. Get up to them corners, Dave. Like that. And then pull that over, and then just shape it, just give it a bit of a wiggle. Kind of get it to kind of shape up a bit. Gotta shape up. You better shape up, 'cause I need some ham. Sorry. There we go. Okay, so that's the bass now. So it's all about the bass. There's no treble involved. It's just all about the bass. Okay, so that's our shape that we've got. So that bit is done. Move that to one side, and now we need to do the lid. The lid, slightly more complicated, but you know, bear with me and I will talk you through it. So now what you need is This is not one of the ones where you need lots of different like bass and treble, no, bass and lid and all of that. You're just going to use, because I've given you a slightly bigger measurement, this is going as though you don't have a lid and a bass type thing. So board, that's what I'm talking about. So first of all, what you're going to do is on the portrait style, okay, that's with the shortest edge towards you, okay, you're going to score at at 3. Sorry, I just had to think about that. We'll score at 3, and then we're going to turn it round, because remember, this time the cardboard is slightly bigger, and the reason for that is it just allows you to kind of slip it over the top of the same measurement. Okay, so that's why this is a 1/16 wider, 1/8, no, 1/16 wider. Okay, and then again at 3 there. Okay, then when you go to your turn it round and you have it on landscape this time, you're going to score it at 2. Yeah, and then you're going to flip it round and you're going to score it at 3. Okay, so this bit is to cover this bit here, so we know that this is a drop of 2.5 and this is a drop of 3, and therefore it'll just overlap by half an inch. Okay, and this is the back piece, so this is the bit that will stick on the back. Okay, so the next thing you want to do before you take your scoreboard away is, at the front it's the full drop of 3, but at the back, so this is the back, the shorter score line is the back, this is the front, remember, this is the back. So from this line, this 3-inch line, come across 1 inch and score all the way across that back panel there, and just a tiny fraction over the score line, okay, because you're going to use that as a guide to cut from here to here to give you that shaped edge. Okay, so then because it's not the same, that doesn't quite sit on that line, you're going to turn it round and you're going to do it from the bottom up. So let me just try and move my board up so you can see. So I'm doing it again on this line, but this time I'm using the inch from here, so we know that that sits on that line. It does, yeah. 1 over from there is there. I'm going to go up to there and just over that crease line into there. Okay, then you're going to take that off the scoreboard. You finish with your scoreboard, you can put that away. You can hook it on that hook that you know it's going to fall off. Hopefully yours doesn't fall off. So now the next thing to do is we're going to cut it. Okay, so we're going to leave this at the full depth of 3. Okay, so this is where our score line is. Let me turn it over so we've got it on the inside and you can see. So you should be able to see that's a score line there, that's our score line there. Okay, and this is where we've kind of gone over that line a bit so that we could see where our 1 inch mark is. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go from this corner here up to this line here, and we're going to cut it. And that's all we're going to do, is we're just going to cut up to here. So from this bit up to here, and we're going to stop. Up to here, stop. Just make sure that line's cut, yeah. And then we're going to do the same again on this side. From that line there, up to that dot there. Just can't see that line now. There we go, there to there. And we're just going to cut up and stop at that score line. Up and stop. Okay, so then we've got this kind of shape that didn't quite cut for some reason. There we go. We've got this shape. Okay, now what we're going to do is, first of all, we're just going to cut off from this score line. So not this score line, this score line. So we're going to cut here, yeah, and then we're going to cut here. And that just gets rid of those bits because they're waste. Now they can go in the waste pile. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cut on this score line. So we're turning it horizontally now, or portrait, landscape, whichever you prefer to call it, and snip up to that score line and round the other way and snip up to that score line. And then we're going to cut those panels off because you don't need those. Okay, so this is a back panel, so it has a shape. So it's basically a tab. It's just a little bit more decorative than a tab because it sits on the outside. So this is the time, if you want to get pernickety about things, this is the time to get a nice, straight, crisp line. Okay. And if you want to just have a bit of OCD over it, you can. So there we go. So that's staying there. So don't cut that bit off. Yeah. And now what we're going to do is we're going to cut in from the sides. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just thinking. No, sorry. We're going to have it portrait style, and we're going to cut in from the top. So we're going to cut in from here on this line up to this crease. And then we're going to do the same on this side. Up to that. Okay, so this is not a tab. This is your front, so you're going to leave that hole, and these are tabs. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut them down to a little bit shorter than they were. Don't have to be accurate, but like, there we go. And then we're going to shape these because remember these are our panels. Okay, sorry, our tabs. Okay, so they can be shaped, and they just need to be shaped on this side as well. Sorry, I knew I was going to cough. I actually thought I was going to sneeze. So okay, so those are all shaped. So again, let's get rid of the waste that we don't need. So now we can put all of those score lines in. So I'm going to fold it over and score it. Fold, score, fold and score. And then fold this back one, score, and then fold these over. Score it, fold this over. And score it. Okay, so these are going to come in here, and this is going to be the front panel that glues on the front because that's a front panel, and then this is going to stay like this, and you're thinking, hang on a minute, that's gone wrong because there's nothing to glue it on with. We'll come back to that in a minute. So I'm just going to glue these tabs, remember, right up to the edge because then that gives you a nice join. I'll put one side on, remember, marry it up. You want to still be able to see the crease. I'm not ever going to let that go, you know, that's going to be the thing, that's going to be my thing when I make a box. You want to still see the crease. There we go. Sorry, I should have put that crease in better than that, but there we go. Let's put that one in now. Okay, and then we're going to right up to the edge. Glue it, curl it round, drop it, entirely up to you if you drop it or not. You don't have to do like I'm doing. And then just, again, you want to see the crease. Then rub that bit down, bend that bit in. Okay, so that's it. And then this panel is the thing that sits on the back. So what you want to do is you want to put it in place so that it encompasses both sides. Yeah. And then we're going to glue this. So we're going to fold it back on itself, right up to the edge. All the way across, down. And then this is going to go on your back panel. Like this. Put it in the middle. And once you've got it in the middle, it'll fall off. No, it shouldn't, but it did. Once you've got it in the middle, try and press it in first. Light on its back, open it up, and then you should be able to press it down. So if you open it up like this, and then you should be able to press this all down now. Okay, and then that will just sit over the top like that, and there we go, we've got that box. So it sits in nicely, it holds together nicely, and like I say, you could put one of the ring things on the front. Should we do that? Let's do that. So let's find us a nice, find myself a nice hole punch would be a good idea first of all, Dave. Find yourself a nice, and it doesn't have to be a nice hole punch. Oh look, it's like kaplunk. It could be a horrible hole punch, but it just needs to be a hole punch. And then we'll get ourselves a piece of, let's use a bit of file folder, because I'm sure there's bound to be an offcut of file folder around or abouts somewhere, Dave. Usually is. That's a short piece. I know there was another piece that came with that, but okay, we'll use this. So, just going to cut 2 discs out of here. I think I'm going to use the letters on this one. And is there another bit of design? Maybe that there. So that's our 2 little bits. Okay. Sorry, my glasses are falling down my face. And then we'll just ink these up. I don't know why I did that side, because that's not the side I'm using. This is not the side you're using. I'll do the same on this one. Just put a bit more ink on this. Gathered twigs, that'll do. Oh, I've broken the ice, and I've actually gone and ordered some more ink pads. So I was struggling dealing with some of them, not all of them. I can't afford to buy them all, so I bought a couple. So Brian was doing an order, so from Art from the Heart, so I ordered some. That's where we get them from. Oh, in the UK, that's where I find that the prices are good. Amazon, shocking prices. Some of them are $11.99 for it, and then on Art from the Heart, they're all, doesn't matter what colour you buy, they're all the same price. So they're all £6. £6 or £7? £7, £6.99. Let's move that to a ½ an inch mark. Oh, no, that's too far. That should give me the middle of there. It'll do, not perfect, but it'll do. And then I need to get a, so right, so let's think about where we're going to put this. So we're going to have that there. I want to decorate this one, so let's finish this one off, because I want to decorate that one and I don't want to keep you. So let's do this like that, like that, and we'll hold it together. That will hold it together. So we're eyeballing. There's no measuring going on now. I'm just going to go there, and then we'll put that back on there, Dave, like that, and then we're going to line that one up. I'm going to do the same on that one. Okay, so not sure that I'll be able to get a grab on that with this. Nope. So what I'll do is I'll use my, he says, my big bite. Nom 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 nom. That was me big biting. Okay, is that the, which one's that? No, that's, no, not that, Dave. I don't actually know what 3 / 6, 3 and 6? That sounds like a price to me. It's not easy when you've just realised you've got it the wrong way up. The markings on the wrong side. There. Yeah, not quite the middle, but it'll do. I'm going to do the same on here. Let's just, so I'm kind of using it more like a regular hole punch rather than the big bite. Oh, that was completely off, you idiot. Oh well. How did you manage to do it so badly, Dave? The only consolation is it'll be covered, oh, by this. Put that on there. Yeah, you won't ever see it. It's fine. I might have to reinforce the back so it doesn't move the eyelet. So let me just get some eyelet. Sorry, just realised I didn't put my mic back on. So for those people who are kind of going, oh, I couldn't hear, I reinforced this. I reinforced the back of this where I'd made an extra hole by cutting a piece of card out, circle punch, put a hole in it, glued it, stuck it to the back, and then searched for 2 of the same colour of these. So sorry for not putting my mic back on again. So we're going to put that in there. But what we're going to do is we're going to get some string first. Decide what we're going to use on this. Quite like this. Although this is my, oh no, I thought I was running out of this. This is my what's this called? My saffron dyed string. I'm going to cut a bit off. I want the taggy thing on the bottom or on the top? On the bottom, and then it stays out of the way when you're lifting it. Yeah, that makes sense, Dave. Bit of logic in that. Oh dear, look at me applying logic. So I'm going to shove that between the 2 things. Open it up a bit actually. Put a bit of glue in. Let's use some of the 3-in-1 because it will dry quicker and sets rock hard. Put that in there. I'm going to push it down with a pokey tool. Get squished into there and pull the brads back over on top of it. That should kind of hold it in place for the time being that way then. Put this. Dave, you idiot. Okay, so, you know, I'm an idiot, I know. Oh, well, I know now. It's got to go on this bit first, hasn't it? First. Then we can open it back up again. Then we can shove this in the 3-in-1. It's alright, I'm there now. It is Bank Holiday Monday, and so my brain's kind of a bit... I had a nice lie-in today, so it's lovely. But I think my brain's still in hibernation mode. I've shoved that into there. I'm just going to close that up for now until we squeeze it through the hole. And now I'm going to just wrap it a couple of times first, and then we're just going to glue it again, glue the tail end to the back of here just to stop it from coming undone. and unravelling again. Also then find that that little hump that you have, that little hump around the post, keeps it far enough away from the substrate for you to be able to wrap some more around it. Need to splay those bits out at the back. So it kind of just holds it away, and then that way then you can wrap more around it. Okay, so then we're going to put this one on. Of course this one doesn't need anything behind it, so okay, so I'm not going to put this on quite so firmly, because then it's got a bit of give on it from when you're wrapping your thing round. Okay, and you can always just glue something over that if you don't want to see it. So will the circle cover it? Nearly. We could go for a bigger circle though, couldn't we, Dave? And here's this one. I'm going to do two, because then I've got one for the top and one for the bottom. And then we're going to glue these down. Oh, things are in the way. Like I say, great for putting your journals in, and you know, when you give them as a gift and that sort of thing. Nice box, an interesting shaped box to give people a journal in. There we go, that's that one. I'm just going to flip that over. You probably can't see in there now, but I'm just going to do exactly the same on this one. Stick that in there, stick that over the top. Oh, no, try and stick it in the middle, Dave. Try at least. You're very trying, we know that. Okay. It's there or thereabouts, that's fine. So that's going to close up like that, and then that should wrap round. And wrap round. Bend that out a bit. Round there. And round there. And round there. Cool. There we go. So that's that one done. So that's the one we made together. That's this one. And then, so obviously that's going to need something to hold it shut. Although you're not going to have it lying down. It's going to be stood that way, obviously. But that's the one we made together. That's the one we made as a demo, and I just finished this one off with you. So there we go. I hope you like that. I hope that's something that you can utilize. Definitely something you could use for giving a book or a journal, like I say, in as a gift. It's much more interesting to give it in a homemade box, isn't it, than if you go out and buy one. So, you know, if you spent all that time making a nice journal, you want to just spend a couple more minutes making a nice box for it to go in. And I love a homemade box. It makes me feel a bit more special. I know people say I'm special, but more special, more specialer, like. And there we go. That's it. So, oh, Dave, you've lost your marbles. Your pin again, Dave. Yeah. Oh no, it's there. Yay, found it. That's your job every week, folks, is to make sure I put the pin back on that. And there we go. So that one I'll decorate up and make it look old, and it'll look very similar to, well, the same colour but similar style to this, and with our nice little enclosure on the front, so you can just open that up. There we go. Get access to inside. And there we go. So, cool. I hope you like that. Oh, by the way, if you wanted to know, this was just some grey cardstock, and I used pumice stone on this one, which I don't use very often. Very juicy one. You could tell I haven't used it for a long time. So yeah, and then a bit of rusty hinge over the top. So no, sorry, brushed. I was going to say brushed antelope, but it's it's not brushed antelope. Brushed. It's not brushed walnut either. Brushed something. The brushed one. I've got a little version of it. Brushed corduroy. There we go. So, or you can use brushed antelope if you like. So, all right then, folks. Thanks very much for watching. My name's Dash of Dave. Don't forget, I love you all without exception until you give me a reason not to. So don't give me a reason not to. Go and brush an antelope. All right, folks. Lots of love. Lots of hugs. Kisses from Margot. Kisses from Seth. Take care, folks. See you soon. Bye. Bye.